Our old friend Beau Dietl. Good morning, Mr. Dietl.
Good morning, Don.
How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I've been involved with this Dominic case there. But before we go there,
With who?
this guy Dominic from the IMF, for some reason, Associated Press picked up on me. And I did interviews this weekend with like their 60 Minutes and everything. They were very interested in what the direction of the investigation would go on this point, because a lot of people don't realize, what happens with the private investigators. They know what goes on with a lawyer. The whole thing is when you do an investigation like this, you're doing it to try to discredit the victim, and it's I'm sorry to say that's what happens. And he's going to build up a defense, and I'll give you the defense right now, right here. And I'm not involved with the case, but I'll tell you what it is. He's going to say he was in the shower, and this woman came in here, and he was naked, and he came out, and then all of a sudden he offered her money, and she took money to perform sex. He's going to say that he didn't forcibly do anything. He's going to say it was consensual. Now you're going to go and say, well, what about the girl 9 years ago? That maybe cannot be used in the case. The judge will make the determination if any of these other factors can be used in the case. The big thing is going to be also her background. You're going to try to do a background check. You're going to interview people, try to get conflicting statements about her credibility. The first statement she's made to the housekeeper supervisor, you weigh that out as far as what she said to the police. And this goes on and on. And right before...
Well, Linda Fairstein was in here. You know her.
Yes, very well.
I used to work with her.
I worked with her back in the 70s, yeah.
Former sex crimes district attorney here in Manhattan for 20 years.
Yeah.
She said what spoke in favor of this woman's case was that she complained immediately about it and, and called the police.
Well, you know what? I say right away, that's good. Look, I'm not sitting here saying this
sounds to me, Laura.
I'm not saying the guy's innocent, but you know what they're going to say to the defense?
Right.
The defense is going to say, put her on the stand or whatever.
What would be her motive to tell the housekeeping and call the police?
About $10 million civil lawsuit. That's going to be a motive for anybody to do.
Well, how would she? She didn't know who he was.
Well, excuse me. My point is there is a lawsuit in progress right now, and you know what? They have a civil attorney already that's involved.
What do you mean? What, for her?
Yes.
Well, yes, but she didn't know any of that. Those are just blood-sucking lawyers trying to glom onto this case.
Though, don't get me wrong about sitting here.
Some of your buddies, by the way. Don't
get me wrong about sitting here. What happened with this young lady?
Did you see that mafia story on 60 Minutes last night?
Yes.
What do you know about that guy?
Yeah, Lee, his nickname, DeVecchio.
Okay.
DeVecchio was involved.
He was the FBI guy, right?
Right. He worked for my friend Jim Fox. Remember my departed friend Jim Fox?
Yeah.
And he developed this real bad guy. I mean, he was a real killer Colombo family guy. And he was developing, and supposedly there was leaks of information that he was giving to this guy Scarpa, Greg Scarpa. And
Did you know Greg Scarpa?
I knew everybody. And the thing is...
No. Did you know him?
I knew Greg Scarpa.
Okay.
And the thing is, I've met him over the years.
Hey, Warner, did you hear that? Where's Warner? Warner left the studio.
Yeah,
I did.
Did you hear the way Warner answered? Did you hear the way Beau answered that question?
Yeah. Well, he said he did know.
He said he knew everybody. Then I had to re-ask the question on Warner.
Yes, you did.
Okay, go ahead.
You could ask me. You should ask the guy's question on 60 Minutes that were talking about Lance Armstrong. That guy was, what did you think about that body language? That guy was rolling around like he was in a squirm chair.
Okay, that's what I tried to tell Warner. Warner said he thinks the guy's telling the truth, Tyler Hamilton.
Well,
but back to the mafia dude.
Yeah.
Who's the mafia guy you know?
The guy was from the Colombo family, Greg Scarpa.
So was he as bad as the other guy says he is?
He was a very, very tough. He had a very tough reputation.
Right.
My friend was in that with the Joey Scopo was machine gunned down during that war. It was the Colombo War. There was two fractions, the Arena fraction and the Persico fraction, and they had a war back in the early 90s, and Greg Scarpa was one of the guys that were doing a lot of whack-a-tate.
Where's Greg Scarpa now?
He's probably at Disney World.
I don't know.
I think he's probably under witness protection right now because he was the one that was an informant for a lot of years. And that was the commission case that was built, they said last night. The commission case was the famous case in 1985 in which they indicted all 5 crime families with Fat Tony Salerno.
Okay, what was the FBI guy? What was his name?
Lynn DeVecchio.
Where's he now?
He's writing a book, and he has a private investigating company out of Florida, and he does private investigations.
What do you think of him?
Well, you want to know something? When you get involved with these, when you're working these cases like this, and you're so deep like he was so deep, he was getting great information from Greg. So, I mean, you can't have it both ways. You have to make deals. Look at Scrivano, 19 people killed. How did they deliver John Gotti Sr.? How did they deliver him? They had to take this creep, and they had to give him immunity, and then that other little punk Elite, remember he was making allegations against me? I never met this creep, but they took this creep, and they tried to go after John Gotti Jr. What happened to the case? Puff into the air because of the credibility of these guys. You can't believe them. What do you believe them on? And this or that. And, it's just, it's funny. But
don't you think if you're in the mob, you ought to be in the mob and keep your mouth shut?
Well, look at the guys that I used to know. Like Louis Dome, and I'll say the name, he's dead now. Louis Dome, I know from many, many years, one of the most stand-up guys. He would have went to jail for 100 times. You could torture him. That was a real mobster. A real mobster is a guy that makes the commitment to be part of it, and he goes away for the rest of his life because he believes. You don't want to know something like this guy, Vinny Gorgeous, the guy who was on trial. Yeah. They got him now on trial for this murders and all. This is you want to talk about, he's a murderer, but he's a stand-up murderer. This is a guy that's going to go to jail with his head high, and he says, I took the oath, I'm going all the way through. He ain't like one of these backstabbing guys, and that's the way it is.
All right, we're out of time.
Wait.
We're out of time. What do you mean, wait, we're out of time. How can we wait when we're out of time?
I want to talk about a little girl that was killed.
We're not going to get the chance to do that because you're out of...
All right.
What does out of time mean?
It means
we're out of time. I mean, if I don't point to Lou now, then we're late, and then we're going to be late, and then all the radio stations around the country scream at me.
Little girl was electrocuted.
I'm sorry that she was electrocuted.
Baltimore, Deanna Green.
Okay.
Little girl.
12 minutes down to the hour. What we don't.